Hi, Rachel here, and this video is to help you if you find during the day you become stressed or anxious, or you find little spikes where you feel that your heart is racing and you feel those spikes of cortisol. And maybe when you feel stressed, that sends you into a little bit of a downward spiral with your mental self-chat. You might start finding your mind thinking about things that haven't even happened in the future and going over and over them and thinking about different outcomes and scenarios, and then thinking about things that happened yesterday and 10 years ago and 25 years ago, and your mind just keeps like playing this tennis match, going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and then things set you off as you go through the day. It could be really simple things, the kids fighting, commute to work, somebody says something, you read something on social media, something on the TV affects you, anything. That as you go through the day, you have these bouts of cortisol and stress. And we want to live in this more of an equilibrium style of living. So what can we do? What little tips and tricks? Well, I'm really loving some very simple breathing techniques. I'm just going to teach you 2 breathing techniques that I'm sure you can use and will find really helpful as you go through the day. So when we get stressed and anxious, we tend to breathe really quickly and shallow, and it's all here in the top of the shoulders here and the top of the chest, and we don't fully take the air in, and our voice pitch changes and our heart starts to race. So we can just think about a more mindful approach. And when we think of mindful, we think of connecting, being present. Yes, that voice in our minds going forward and back and thinking a million things and racing off, but just connecting the breath very simply. And having a feeling of breathing in through the nose and feeling the rib cage expand. So as the ribs are expanding, the lungs are getting bigger and all the air is coming into the lungs and oxygenating the bodies. But in your mind, think about sending the breath into your back. So the breath is coming in through the nose, the rib is expanding, the back is expanding, got this lovely wide back and that lovely 360 approach to breathing, and at the same time allowing the belly to expand. So we're inhaling, ribs, lungs are getting bigger, sending the air into the back, and at the same time allowing the belly to just really expand. And then as you exhale, have a feeling of just gently lifting the pelvic floor ever so slightly, bringing the belly back in, exhaling, and just enjoying that connection. So breathe with me. Inhale. Think about sending the air into the back, allowing the belly to push forward, and then breathe out. And try that deep breathing technique for beginners for 2 or 3 minutes, and just see how that calms you down, calms down your sympathetic nervous system, helps you relax, helps you be present, takes that edge off, that anxiety, that stress, that quickness. And another breathing pattern that you could try is alternate nasal breathing. So again, exactly the same pattern, breathing in, ribs, into the back, allowing the belly to expand, but just hold down one nostril. So you breathe in through one nostril, then you change, you close the other one, and then breathe out through the other nostril. Well, let's try it together. So and try that breathing pattern for maybe 3 or 4 minutes and see how it makes you feel. Do that as an experiment today, especially if you find yourself, when you do get stressed or anxious, you tend to find yourself walking into the kitchen, opening the fridge and mindlessly eating and emotional eating, and maybe stress is a trigger for you to overeat. Maybe just take 2 or 3 minutes before you go into the kitchen and just practice one of those breathing techniques and see how it makes you feel. And if you're an instructor, maybe try that at the beginning of your classes or the end of your classes and teach it to people. See how they find it and if it helps them. Just regulate their stress levels for the day. I'd love to know what you think. Do leave me a comment. I'm really interested in just using these very simple techniques that you can use in everyday life, and they'll have a big impact.